Good morning. It's 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, the KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Getting the local news ready. Erin is up next.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. A home invasion in the Blanchard area. 4 people are locked up. And Bossier police investigating their first murder of the year.
You know, the question needs to be asked. Could this auctioneer deal to take over University Health, the management of the hospital and the medical school, could this be the economic game changer that Shreveport's been looking for? We will discuss in the very first segment and replay our chat yesterday with State Rep Cedric Glover. Fletcher and sports, traffic and weather, lots to do this hour, and it's just seconds away here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. Jeff Landry's filed a lawsuit in an attempt to unseat 2 of Governor John Bel Edwards' appointments. Landry believes the appointments were illegal because Carolyn Prater's nomination to the board was ignored for political reasons.
The governor must choose from the list submitted to him. He does not have the discretion to deviate from that list.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. 2 men and 2 juveniles taken into custody following a home invasion on Dixie Blanchard Road. According to police, the foursome forced their way into a woman's home, robbing her at gunpoint. Caddo deputies eventually caught the 4 alleged burglars after an extensive manhunt that included the use of drones equipped with infrared cameras. The healthcare climate is changing in the region. That's the message from State Representative Cedric Glover on the auctioneer takeover of the safety net hospitals.
Folks now who are in the healthcare profession have an opportunity to be able to work for an organization that gives them an opportunity to not just have a great job, but also have a path to a great career as well.
The auctioneer takeover happens October 1st. A man is shot and killed in Bossier. Matt Parker has the details.
Bossier City Police are investigating their first murder of the year. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning in the 500 block of Park Lane Drive in the Green Acres subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. At this time, investigators are seeking surveillance footage in an attempt to identify the gunman. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Things back to normal at Barksdale after a brief lockdown. There were reports Tuesday of a possible active shooter situation. Someone reported sighting of an armed man on base. However, after a lockdown, an investigation turned out to be a false alarm. Shreve Memorial Library and the Food Bank expanding their after-school feeding and enrichment program to more branches. Starting October 1st, library branches in Greenwood and Morningsport will begin offering the service. Governor John Bel Edwards says his top priority for the legislative session next year is to fund a teacher pay raise. The last time teachers in Louisiana got a raise was in 2013. Former Bessie member and former lawmaker Jane Smith tells KEEL News what she expects to see happen now.
I'm thinking probably there won't be any more special sessions, and I'm thinking that they're going to go in April, but this is going to be one of the big items, one of the big ticket items, and it's a political season for elections in 2019, so there you go.
Louisiana teachers make on average just around $49,000. The national average is about $60,000. Lawmakers in the Senate awaiting a momentous Judiciary Committee hearing on Thursday in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who accuses him of sexual misconduct when they were teens are to testify separately. The Judiciary Committee has called in a special attorney to question the woman and Kavanaugh.
I was interested in having somebody who had expertise in sexual assault allegations who could ferret out the information that we all need. And this attorney, who happens to be a woman, came highly recommended. I don't know her, but I've been assured that she's very good and very fair.
Senator John Kennedy says there could be a vote on Kavanaugh on Friday. And Verizon customers across the country had big problems yesterday. The company says things are back to normal now. The LSU Tigers take on Ole Miss Saturday after getting scorched by Tech quarterback Jamar Smith in an unexpectedly close game. The Bulldogs threw for 333 yards. The purple and gold secondary has looked vulnerable at times, something cornerback Greedy Williams, who played ball right here at Calvary, says the secondary is trying to correct.
It was a bad game for the back end. We all made mistakes. At the end of the day, it's a game of football. Mistakes happen. So at the end of the day, we just got to bow up, and fix it on the film, and come out with a great demeanor this upcoming week.
Last year, the Tigers went into Oxford, smashing Ole Miss 40-24. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
That over the last 3 years, this is something that
Only Lexus authorized body shop in the Shreveport-Bossier area.
Good morning, 613. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. The Jack Spring Electric Shock Buster button hopefully will remain unused today.
Oh, get that thing ready today.
But you look a little nutty already.
Yeah, I'm nutty.
Super nutty. Our song, that's odd that you burst into song already.
Yeah.
Because for anybody, and we worked this out yesterday, I came up with an idea for everybody who says auctioneer, because it's not, it's auctioneer.
It's not how they answer the phone.
It's okay, schnur, like auctioneer. And so I came up, if you've seen Dumb and Dumber, and what better movie to analogize this show than
I'm dumb.
Dumb and Dumber. I have carpet on the outside of my car. So we came up, this is sort of, because you've seen the movie, and it's the...
No, some of us haven't seen that stupid movie.
I've never seen it all the way through.
No.
I just see this clip every now and then, and this is what you can use as sort of a little, what's the word, mnemonic on how to remember to properly pronounce auctioneer. And it's the hummingbird sing, or mockingbird sing, okay? Where they start off and they go, auc, schnur, auc, schnur, and that's how you can remember. So you take the lead, and then I'll do the other part.
Okay, auc.
Yeah.
Schnur.
Yeah, see, that's how you say it. Now just eliminate me.
Schnur,
Auctioneer.
Schnur, yeah.
That's not exactly right. Do you think that this move for auctioneer to take over the management of the hospital, University Health, and the medical school, do you think it could be that first step, the economic boom, the economic, a huge economic step that a lot of people say Shreveport needs?
Oh, I think it is a good step. I think it does keep some really high-paying jobs here. I think it attracts some high-paying folks.
Well, there's a lot of folks, and among them is State Representative Cedric Glover, who has said that, my word's not his, but I think he would agree that Shreveport should not only be a transportation hub of the South, but a medical hub of the South.
You bet.
And we chatted with Cedric yesterday about the auctioneer takeover of the hospital and the medical school, and how do you feel about that? This is something that you have been in favor of for a while, right?
You know that over the last 3 years, this is something that I have been advocating for, pushing for, demanding, and have been particularly perturbed that we have missed out on 3 years of this, because it was in April of 2015 when the folks at the BRF first brought the folks from auctioneers to the table, but you had local players here, local politicians who blocked that. So great news on yesterday, just 3 days delayed at this point. And I think the focus still needs to be on how it is that we actually manage to take these assets and use them not just to secure the future of the medical school, but to ultimately, as Steve Scrivano said on yesterday, position us for the very first time, in my estimation, in 50-plus years, actually use this academic health center as an economic engine to help drive the growth of job and wealth creation in North Louisiana.
What do you think that auctioneer, this is a pretty big move, what do you think auctioneer is going to be able to do to achieve for the med school, for University Health Hospital, that under the aegis of Biomedical Research Foundation, nobody was able to do?
Well, now remember, Biomed was founded to help facilitate the growth, development, expansion of the biotechnical industry in Shreveport and North Louisiana. It's not actually a hospital operator. They stepped in back in 2013, to ensure that we didn't end up either having the hospital end up under Willis Knighton or to some other outside operator that was not a part of this community. We did not need to expand the local monopoly that existed, and we did not need someone to have an appreciation and a respect for Louisiana in general and North Louisiana. But now, the thing that really is exciting about this is that you have to remember, Auctioneers is the only hospital in Louisiana, Arkansas, or Mississippi that's actually listed in the top 100 hospitals across the entire country. They are nationally ranked, considered to be the best that we have to offer here inside the state of Louisiana. The fact that we now have an opportunity to be able to push back against that current monopoly and bring in the best operator within a 3-state region and partner with our medical school gives us a chance to be able to finally have an opportunity and a potential to be able to put our assets here on a path similar to those of UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham, that's over in Alabama, Johns Hopkins up in in Maryland, the Texas Health Center over in Houston, and other similar types of efforts across the country, where you don't just have a medical school, you don't just have a teaching hospital, you actually have an economic engine that helps to lead, drive, and grow your region.
Cedric, we're talking to Cedric Glover, State Rep. Can we reverse the trend of the brain drain? We've lost so many greats. Can we turn that around? Can we attract some even brighter?
Well, a big part of that is going to be dependent upon what happens on the LSU side of the equation. One of the unfortunate realities is that we have filled the top leadership positions at the institution without any basis of an actual real search process. We've put in folks who are close to folks at Willis-Knighton. We've put in folks who have been a part of keeping us on this 3-year delay to get to Oxnard. What we haven't done is sought the best and the brightest. And because we haven't done that, we've ultimately run off people like Anil Nanda, who represented world-class intellectual capital for Shreveport and North Louisiana. We punished him by sending him back to his wife's hometown and putting him in charge of not one Department of Neurology, but 2 Department of Neurology at 2 ranked medical schools when he was leaving one that was unranked. Those are the types of things that have got to change if we want Shreveport and North Louisiana to change.
You have been very skeptical and have been vocal about South Louisiana wants our med school, Baton Rouge in particular. Does this ease that concern of yours at all?
Well, again, as I said earlier, this isn't about just safeguarding the medical school. We've effectively done that. That still doesn't belie the fact that Baton Rouge wants it to have one as well. But now what we've also got to do is to make sure that we don't just simply maintain the status quo. Understand, we have been blessed for over half a century to have one of 140 academic health centers in the United States of America. What it has not done is serve as a catalyst for the growth, development, and expansion of this regional economy in a way that allows us to be able to stop that brain drain, keep those who are here at home, and to attract others from other places. That's what we got to focus on. This was never about just simply saving the medical school. Obviously, that's something that needed to happen because of the intention of the folks in Baton Rouge, their articulated plan to develop a Baton Rouge health district for their area. We have a health district here that folks don't recognize, don't acknowledge, and don't understand it. It's on Kings Highway. We've got some substantial assets there. Public investments have been made. We've just never, ever brought it together completely and given it the level of funding and resources necessary to allow it to be exactly what it is that it has potential to be. The most telling aspect of this whole situation is this, and you've heard me get on my soapbox and talk about the disrespect in terms of funding for North Louisiana and this hospital in particular. The one thing that affirms that we've been right in that contention all along is that BRF was given $251 million to run safety net and teaching hospitals in Shreveport and Monroe. Come October 1st, in the same fiscal year, Oxnard will be given $43 million more, or $294 million, to do the same thing that we challenged our local folks to do. While they did that, we had local folks and LSU people who did nothing but harp on their ability to be able to effectively address their funding needs and their cash flow needs, and yet we were already knowingly underfunding them by over $40 million. And the folks from Oxnard show up and we give them $43 million in the blink of an eye. That represents the kind of actions, thinkings, and behavior that continues to hold Shreveport and North Louisiana behind.
You know, you had mentioned a couple of times in our conversation the brain drain. So I guess the first question would be, is it fair to say there's been a morale problem at University Health and the med school? And if there has been, do you think this morning the doctors, the nurses, everybody, do you think they're jumping up and down, clapping their hands?
Well, there's been a morale problem since 2013 when Governor Jindal made the decision to privatize this operation and did so in very short order. He had the closure of Earl K. Long down in Baton Rouge, the closure of the facility in Alexandria, folks who were losing retirements and benefits and positions. And I mean, it was a process that should have been done with a scalpel. It was done with a hatchet. And so despite that, those folks here, especially in Shreveport and Monroe, stepped up to the plate, partnered with the folks at BRF, and actually took a situation that was very much of a challenge and actually made it better. They improved wait times. They improved the quality of care. They made it where you had a universal level playing field for all patients when it came to the quality of the care that they were provided, and they actually ended up making it possible for this particular partnership for Oxnard to take place because they showed that they could effectively perform. What they now realize, I think, after conversations yesterday with employee groups both here in Shreveport and Monroe, that they're stepping into what is now even a better situation because Oxnard is a world-class institution. They have been in the business of providing high-quality health care for a very long time, and folks now who are in the healthcare profession have an opportunity to be able to work for an organization that gives them an opportunity to not just have a great job, but also have a path to a great career as well.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL, the KEEL app, a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Traffic time. Ruben's ready.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.117 FM, 710 KEEL. Fletch is here. Sports time.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints secondary, ranked 30th out of 32 teams in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus, will be without their highest-rated cornerback for the rest of the season. Patrick Robinson suffered ligament damage as well as a broken ankle against the Falcons on a barrel roll block. The team worked out a covey of cornerbacks Tuesday, and they are expected to run journeyman David Amerson through the paces today, according to The Advocate. Amerson has 8 interceptions in his 5-year career with 3 different teams. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said former quarterback Tony Romo will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor, but he did not provide a timetable. Jones made his comments while being interviewed by the NFL Network for their upcoming Football Life episode that focuses on Romo's career. There are currently 21 Ring of Honor members. The Houston Astros won for the 100th time and clinched the American League West later when Oakland lost to Seattle. The Astros' 4-1 win over Toronto was buoyed by Alex Bregman's 2-run homer. 3 wins over the final 5 games of the regular season would give the Astros a franchise record 103 wins. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.117 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Another big day for mayoral candidates today. 7 o'clock this morning, well, actually just after 7, like 7:10, Leo Savage.
Mm-hmm.
And just after 8, Jim Talafero will be here.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning from 7 till 7:30 or so will be Stephen Jackson, Adrian Perkins yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And still waiting on an answer from Her Honor the Mayor.
Yeah, I may have to actually call her folks at the office.
Well, I saw you made the call to the campaign headquarters yesterday.
Haven't heard back from the campaign headquarters. Now, yesterday, after I left here, I could make no more calls because of the Verizon mess. And so I don't know if they tried to call me.
What was up with that yesterday?
I could make no. In fact, I'm so upset today because I hosted the Council District D forum last night.
Where do they have that?
Grace Methodist Church on Ellaby Road, right there by the Kroger. And I was there early, so I was sitting there making some notes and jotting things down. And Jeff Landry called me. I noticed on my phone, Jeff Landry's calling in. And I answered the call, and I picked it up to try to talk to him, and I couldn't hear him. And he had just filed the lawsuit. You know, that was breaking.
Yeah.
I was working on that, too. And I was trying to schedule him for today.
You know, it's interesting.
We couldn't hear each other.
Of all the politicians over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years we've been on KEEL, who have said, who give you their cell phone number and say, if you ever need anything, call me. And then when they get elected, they change their cell phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Landry is one who has not.
And Billy Nungasser, too.
You started to say, Parkey.
Well, I was just going to say the Verizon outage was literally throughout the entire South. You couldn't get through on Verizon until about 7 or 8 last night.
I tried to call you twice yesterday. Once in the afternoon, once in the early evening. I forgot you had the city council forum. But I tried to call you about 3:30 or 4 o'clock also. And both times, I dialed your number or auto dial.
Mm-hmm.
It rang once, and my phone turned off and restarted. Isn't that weird?
Weird. Mine would call, and it would go to the Verizon message center. Call 611 if you'd like Verizon help.
Yeah.
Like when you hadn't paid your bill
Get
or
in the
whatever.
line there. You know, you and I talk about all the time about things that people say to us that are memorable to them about this radio show that you and I either barely remember or were just like kind of throwaways.
Yeah.
And they'll say, man, a couple of years ago when you said blah, 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 that was hysterical. I nearly drove off the road. And we go, I think I remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody brought something up with me last evening about this show that I remember, but I hardly considered a cornerstone or a milestone in this program. And yet they said to me it was one of the funniest things they ever heard. We'll go to the news break, traffic and weather and stuff. We will relive that moment in just a couple of seconds.
I want to thank, I got to see former Mayor John Hussey, 84, still looks amazing. You know, it was a good crowd last night. It was great to be there and heard a lot of good things from those candidates.
Oh, you didn't mean about me.
Not about you,
I misunderstood. Okay.
No.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. How do you get my vote? Good haircut. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Starting things off looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Uri Drive near Southfield Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 83. Mostly cloudy, low 64 tonight. Not as warm with clouds, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
information. KEEL News now.
A man shot and killed in Bossier. Police investigating their first murder of the year. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning on Park Lane Drive in the Green Acres subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. At this time, investigators are seeking surveillance footage in an attempt to identify the gunman. 2 men and 2 juveniles taken into custody following a home invasion on Dixie Blanchard Road. According to police, the foursome forced their way into a woman's home, robbing her at gunpoint. Caddo deputies eventually caught the 4 alleged burglars after an extensive manhunt that included the use of drones equipped with infrared cameras. After an afternoon scare, all is good at Barksdale. Matt Parker with that.
Things are back to normal at Barksdale Air Force Base after a brief lockdown. There were reports Tuesday afternoon of a possible active shooter situation. Someone reported sightings of an armed man on base. However, after a lockdown and investigation, it turned out to be a false alarm. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. Jeff Landry's filed a lawsuit in Natchitoches in an attempt to unseat 2 of Governor Edwards' appointments to the panel. Landry believes the appointments were illegal because Carolyn Prater's nomination to the board was ignored for political reasons. Landry says the process is clear.
The governor has to follow the law like everyone else, right? And the law spells out the way that the representation on the commission is made and how those appointments are made.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. Governor John Bel Edwards says our state's surging income levels are a substantial part of the expected $300 million surplus for the past budget year. A report shows Louisiana paced most of the nation in income growth at 5.9% in the second quarter, good for second in the country. Edwards says income gains are propelling the unexpected revenues.
We closed the books on June 30th for last fiscal year, and these 2 quarters that we're talking about were the last 2 quarters in that fiscal year.
The national average was 4.2%, and Texas led the nation at 6% income growth. Lawmakers awaiting a momentous Senate Judiciary Committee hearing tomorrow in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who accuses him of sexual misconduct are expected to testify separately. The Senate Judiciary Committee is bringing in a special attorney to question both. Senator John Kennedy reacted to that on Fox.
Any senator has the right, within the time given to him or her, to ask questions. I'm planning on ceding all of my time to our new staff member. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't decide to reserve some to ask a question myself, but right now I haven't sat down and prepared a bunch of questions. I'm not interested in any gotcha moments.
Senator Kennedy says a vote could come in the committee as early as Friday. Bill Cosby sentenced to 3 to 10 years in Philadelphia. He was taken off to jail immediately. And Verizon had big-time problems yesterday all across the country. Folks couldn't make calls. Many couldn't even send text messages. System officials say it is now back up and running today. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM and 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, we talk all the time about things that people remember that you and I just, like, man, the time you did X or Y or Z. I nearly drove off the road. It was so awesome or so funny or so memorable. And once it was just like a throwaway line. Well, a couple of years ago, I played this for you when your son, in fact, I think when you became a mother-in-law. And so I'm out last night.
I'm scared now.
And don't you remember the Ernie K. Doe hit from 1961, Mother-in-Law?
Oh, yeah.
And I played it in honor of you becoming an actual and real mother-in-law. Somebody told me that was like the funniest thing I ever heard. And I said, well, the song is awesome.
Yeah.
But the irony of it wasn't a novelty record. It wasn't just a comedy song like They're Coming to Take Me Away or one of those. This was a legitimate hit. And it was Ernie K. Doe in 1961. And so we're going to play the first couple of verses just because I promised I would, and it's so awesome.
Mother-in-law, 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 mother-in-law. The worst person I know.
Worst person I know.
I'm not that.
She worries me so.
She worries me so.
Next line, very important. Pay close attention.
If she leave us alone, we would have a happy home.
Next line, too. Sent from down below.
No, I'm not.
One more quick verse.
Satan shouldn't be her name.
To me, they're about the same.
To me, they're about the same. Mother-in-law. Every time I open my mouth, steps in try to put me out.
How could she stoop so low?
Oh.
Mother-in-law.
Mean. You're a mean man.
Accurate.
It's an upbeat, happy tune that I think we probably will play again
I'm
later.
a great MIL.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.117 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Don't forget, coming up just after 7 o'clock, mayoral candidate Leo Savage. And just after 8 o'clock, mayoral candidate Jim Talaferro.
Let me mention something because a lot of the folks last night came up to me and almost 100% of them said they are regular listeners. But they said to me...
Play mother-in-law more.
No, they didn't have anything to do with that.
Can't believe it.
They said, sometimes I get to work and I miss, something y'all said is coming up. And I said, Well, the whole show is put on our YouTube channel every day.
Well, not only YouTube, it videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can download the app. I mean, there's a million ways to listen to this program.
So you can go back and watch any segment you want at any point.
You know, it's interesting that you said that because we put the photo up when we went long in the segment the other morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I put on my Facebook page a photo of Matt giving me the unibrow, I hate you look.
Right.
Which, by the way, in the scheme of things is not all that uncommon. But the point is, I put, and the caption was, the face you make when you go 45 seconds too long in the segment, and your producer, well, you get the idea. I mean, he's giving me the stare.
I wasn't looking at you. I was trying to figure out how to fix your mistake, dummy.
The point is this, and I think it was our friend Doug Obrook who put up, wow, Matt's got a lot of monitors over there.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, he does. And one of them is the video monitor controlling the 3 cameras that feed the video from this show every day on the KEEL Facebook page and on the KEEL YouTube channel. Bluntly put, the Facebook page is easier to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is, about an hour after the show, when the whole thing buffers, it's on the KEEL YouTube page.
Yeah.
It's all there every day, the entire show.
Oh.
And on top of that,
some days we don't want it memorialized, but I'm sorry it is.
Every one we've done for about the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make was, on top of that, the particular interviews like Adrian Perkins yesterday. All 3 segments, if you missed it, are there on the KEEL, the KEEL website, keelnews.com.
You can listen to it however you want. You want to share it. You just can't commercialize it. I mean, if they were to pull cuts to use in TV commercials or whatever, they'd have to get our permission.
No, it's ours. I
And
mean,
we
you
own
can't.
it, yeah.
You can't steal it.
But I mean, you want to share it on your Facebook or whatever, we're fine with that.
Yeah.
You just can't use it for commercial purposes.
Just give us, buy us lunch.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, dinner and drinks.
The news story that you had. Pull up the John Bell story about taxes.
Okay, let's see where that is. Yeah, let's see.
Because this is awesome. Louisiana income went up. And John Bell is going, thank God. This is what I take from this. That the governor of Louisiana is giddy that he got a tax raise so he can take more of your money. You know, that $300 million surplus. You know why we've got that? Because Louisianans are making more money, and it's a damn good thing that I'm taking more of it too.
Yeah, and you're spending more of it, so we're getting more sales tax.
But it's basically, go ahead. Read the
Governor
story.
Edwards says the state's surging income levels are a substantial part of the expected $300 million surplus. A report shows Louisiana paced most of the nation in income growth at 5.9% in the second quarter. Good for second in the country. The income growth was pushed by continuing gains in construction and the oil industry, but also on the back of yet another quarter of healthcare growth. Edwards says that's due to Medicaid expansion. That's more than paying for itself in revenue returns.
Isn't John Bell basically saying, see, isn't it a good thing that I raised sales taxes because now the state has a surplus? I mean, he's practically giddy about taking more of your money.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm taking it.
He says the state's economy's been on the rise for most of the year.
Think about how it would be on the rise if the state wasn't taking your money.
We'd be buying even more stuff.
Look, there's a reason. Well, we used to, but they killed that too. There's a reason that a couple of times a year we did school supplies and stuff. What's the one that they cut out? Was it the school supplies weekend or the hunters weekend?
They cut out the school supply one.
There's a reason that every year in so many states, formerly Louisiana, they used to do school supplies tax-free weekend.
And they need to bring that back. People were upset about that.
Of course they were. But look, the temporary logic is, oh, wait, people will buy more if it's untaxed. Your dollar goes farther if it's untaxed. Well, here John Bell is saying, circuitously, hooray, we've got a $300 million surplus because I was able to push through a tax increase.
Yeah. The national average growth, by the way, was 4.2%. Texas was 6%. Again, Louisiana was at 5.9%, so it's pretty good growth.
Okay, coming up just after 7 o'clock, mayoral candidate Leo Savage. Do you have any surprise questions? I don't.
Of course I do.
Do you?
Of course I do. They're in my back pocket right here.
Could have lived without that.
And I got some in this other pocket, too. Right there.
What time did you go to bed last night?
It was late.
Did you stay up late?
It was late.
Good.
We do apologize for the
No.
low browness of the show today.
No, we don't apologize for the collective low-browness. You should apologize for remember, we spent about 90 seconds promoting the KEEL Facebook page.
Yeah.
And the fact that this show streams video.
Yeah.
And then, as we're about to wrap up the segment,
I pat myself on the butt.
you pat your backside, and not just
It's who I am. I give and
beg your
give some
pardon?
more. I give and give some more.
Stop being so generous.
I just want to be a good bloviator.
648, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Leo Savage just after 7. Jim Talaferro just past 8. Traffic and weather up next on KEEL.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Eight before 7 o'clock, time for KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints secondary, ranked 30th out of 32 teams in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus, will be without their highest-rated cornerback for the rest of the season. Patrick Robinson suffered ligament damage as well as a broken ankle against the Falcons on a barrel roll block. The team worked out a covey of cornerbacks Tuesday, and they are expected to run journeyman David Amerson through the paces today, according to The Advocate. Amerson has 8 interceptions in his 5-year career with 3 different teams. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said former quarterback Tony Romo will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor, but he did not provide a timetable. Jones made his comments while being interviewed by the NFL Network for their upcoming Football Life episode that focuses on Romo's career. There are currently 21 Ring of Honor members. The Houston Astros won for the 100th time and clinched the American League West later when Oakland lost to Seattle. The Astros' 4-1 win over Toronto was buoyed by Alex Bregman's 2-run homer. 3 wins over the final 5 games of the regular season would give the Astros a franchise record 103 wins. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. We'll talk about this more later, maybe after Mr. Leo takes off at about 7:30 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch any golf this weekend? Did you see Tiger Woods?
I did not. I read a little bit about it, but I didn't look at it.
Thoughts?
I was excited for him. I meant to go watch it, to be honest with you, but by the time I got home, it was too late. It was already done.
Is it interesting to you that the way the story, and don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Tiger Woods fan,
Mm-hmm.
but is it interesting to, but I'm also an old guy, and I don't attach anything more to people than that what they do. In other words, it never occurred to me when he was the greatest golfer of all time, or at least one of the top 2, Jack Nicklaus being the other,
Mm-hmm.
in the late 90s or early 2000s, that he was anything more than a good golfer.
Yeah.
And yet people sort of attach with greatness this sort of character and sort of, I don't want to say righteousness, but wholeness of character. And it turns out, oh, he was a jerk. He was just, well,
yeah.
I'm wondering now that he's completed his comeback and people, the media once again are attaching this, he's a better man than ever.
Are they?
Yeah. And I don't know that. I don't know that any more than I knew. We'll talk about it more after 7 o'clock.
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
On Monday, the Indianapolis Star apologized to readers for a drawing. It was an editorial cartoon that poked a little fun at Christine Ballsy Ford for her multiple demands before she agreed to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The cartoon depicted her sitting before the Senate panel listing her wants. No questions from lawyers, dim lights, roses, sparkling water, and a bowl of green M&Ms. Now, of course, that mild kidding sent the humorless left into orbit, so much so the newspaper groveled and then apologized. They did both. But there have been no apologies from any newspapers to Judge Kavanaugh or his family for publishing unfounded smears all over their front pages, allegations that have not been corroborated by a single human being. Likewise, no apologies from the Hollywood celebrities, the drive-by media pundits, or Democrats who've already passed judgment without a shred of evidence, trying to destroy a man's life. Well, I guess that's perfectly okay for liberals, but poking a little fun at a woman, a liberal woman that is, why, that's totally off limits. That's the left's version of equal rights. And a little news update. Michael Avenatti says now that there might not have ever been a rape train involving Kavanaugh. Details later. I'm not kidding. He just said that. The guy got played. Whoever did this is brilliant. Cyber criminals, cyber bad guys can attack your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone without you even knowing. Or they can steal your identity, and you may not realize it until it's too late. That's why LifeLock Identity Theft Protection now includes the power of Norton Security to help protect your identity and your devices. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect a range of threats to your identity. And Norton Security protects against online threats like ransomware or malware. And if there is a problem, LifeLock with Norton has agents who will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton Security provides more detection and more protection against cyber threats. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH for an additional 10% off your first year, plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Terms apply.
The intersection of Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline at 687-ROAD.
6:59, here's your KEELAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of cloudy and rainy again today. Heavy at times. Gosh, was yesterday heavy. Highs in the low to middle 80s. Right now, 71 at Keel. 7 o'clock. Here's Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 3 past 7 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Get ready. Erin has local news up next.
A murder in Bossier City. We'll talk more about that this morning. Also, the state attorney general filing suit over the Red River Waterway Commission, and a home invasion last night in the Blanchard area.
Let's see. Mayoral candidate Leo Savage joins us in studio for about 30 minutes. That in just about 10 minutes. Shreveport Security Systems text line for your questions. Got a good one? 318-392-1884. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all on the way this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Home invasion last night in the Blanchard area happened on Dixie-Blanchard Highway. A woman was at home when 4 people stormed into her house with guns, demanding her stuff. They got away, but they were later caught. 2 adults and 2 juveniles are locked up today. Bossier police investigating the first murder of the year in that city. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning on Park Lane Drive in the Green Acre subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. No suspects in custody at this point. Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry's filed suit against the Red River Waterway Commission, claiming 2 members of the board are serving illegally. This dispute centers on the non-appointment of Carolyn Prater to the board. Landry says the governor has to follow the law.
So we're here in order to do 2 things. One, to protect the rule of law, okay, to ensure that the rule of law is followed, and to protect Northwest Louisiana's representation.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. Things are now back to normal at Barksdale after a brief lockdown. There were reports of a possible active shooter situation Tuesday afternoon. Someone reported sightings of an armed man on base. However, after the lockdown and investigation, it turned out to be a false alarm. Good things could be happening in the healthcare world in our community. That's the message from State Representative Cedric Glover on the Ochsner takeover of the safety net hospitals.
Ochsner is the only hospital in Louisiana, Arkansas, or Mississippi that's actually listed in the top 100 hospitals across the entire country. They are nationally ranked, considered to be the best that we have to offer here inside the state of Louisiana.
The Ochsner takeover happens October 1st. An after-school enrichment program is expanded. We get more on that from Matt Parker.
Shreve Memorial Library and the Food Bank of Northwest Louisiana are expanding their after-school feeding and enrichment program to more branches. Starting October 1st, library branches in Greenwood and Mooringsport will be offering the service. The program provides healthy after-school meals to kids up to 18 years old and reading, life skills, and STEM education courses. You can read more about the program online at KEELnews.com. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Governor John Bell Edwards says the state's surging income levels are a substantial part of the expected $300 million surplus for the past budget year. The growth in income was pushed by continued gains in construction and the oil industry, but also on the back of yet another quarter of healthcare growth. Edwards says that's due to the Medicaid expansion. He says it cost the state $43 million, but pulled down significantly more than that in federal matching dollars. Edwards says this didn't come out of nowhere. He says the state's economy has been on the rise for most of the year, backed by solid GDP numbers to open the year, and
this is the second really strong quarter because the first quarter growth in personal income in Louisiana was actually 6%.
The Revenue Estimating Committee will not have official numbers on the surplus until next month. Governor John Bel Edwards wants a $1,000 pay raise for teachers. He says it's his top priority for next year. Former Bessie member and former lawmaker Jane Smith telling KEEL News keeping teachers in the classroom must be a priority.
We've got to do a good job of trying to convince and recruit good folks that want to go into the teaching profession. And I just think that is part of it. Is you've got to keep salaries moving in a positive direction to entice and try to convince folks that that's a good way to go.
Louisiana teachers make on average about $49,000. The nationwide average is $60,000. And trouble for a bar in Michigan that features axe throwing. The liquor license of the club in Auburn Hills suspended for a day because inspectors found alcohol was being allowed in the axe throwing area and some people were wearing open-toed shoes. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Traffic time. Ruben's here.
The intersection at Lakeshore Drive and Juella Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 83. Mostly cloudy, low 64 tonight. Not as warm with clouds, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Good morning, 12 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Joining us for a little bit, most likely a half hour or so, is Shreveport mayoral candidate Leo Savage. Welcome back to KEEL, Mr. Leo. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful, Robert. Thank you.
You are, let's start here. You are a self-admitted political novice. This is your first race. You kind of, correct me if I'm speaking, if I'm incorrect. You just got kind of fed up and said, you know, if not me, who, if not now, when, to paraphrase Ronald Reagan.
That's exactly what it is, Robert. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you.
What is the one thing, the biggest thing you have learned about politics in general, or the operation of the city in general, or the mal-operation of the city in general, since you started campaigning, 120 days ago?
Yeah, actually, you know, I decided to do this about January the 6th, January 7th. So, you know, full campaign mode was probably around February. So
let's assume this is in many ways the education of Leo Savage.
Yes.
What has Leo learned?
Well, I'll answer your question specifically.
Okay.
Because I've learned a lot. I've actually learned that there are a lot of mismanaged funds throughout our city. I have learned that there are bits of corruption that people never have even dreamt of. It's something that people say, oh, no, that couldn't happen.
Well, let's start there, because you mentioned that off the air, too. Let's talk about what, in your mind, is waste and mismanagement. Give us some examples and tell us about how that would be tackled by a Savage administration.
Sure. Well, first off, you know, we need to do a complete, now not just on our water department, I'm going to start there, but we really need to do a third-party audit of all of our city departments. I really think that we've got it. It's deep. I think it's kind of like you come to work every morning, and I'm sure the speed limit might be 60 and you're doing 65. You might do 70, you know, and you're doing it because you never get caught. Well, you know, I think that's what's happened through all the years is people have done things and they've never been caught, so they continue to do it. So it might be a more grandiose scale each time. But again, to start with the water department, we spent, in the prior administration, we spent $7.4 million on water meters, and they were supposed to simplify the process of reading these water meters instead of having a guy having to go out. And by the way, I think we have 15 people who read 81,000 water meters right now, so you tell me if that's done effectively or not. But go back, and you also, to tackle the $7.4 million that we spent on these water meters, they also spent $3 million on the software. Now, I want you to think about all of this combined, our $10.4 million. It's never been used. It didn't work. It's sitting in pallets, I would assume, somewhere in Shreveport in a warehouse, not being used. Now, if that was you and you had purchased something that didn't work, I'm sure you would take it back, get your money back, but we haven't. Now, this was purchased through Triton. It's a company that if you want to dig, like I did, you'll find a lot of people who are tied to that were with former administrations, and you can look at that throughout our government, and you'll see that's happened.
Still corruption now under the current administration?
Let me rephrase that question, pardon me. And I don't want to put words in your mouth,
sure,
but I almost interrupted your previous answer. Let me try it this way, and you tell me if Erin and I are wrong.
Okay.
That in government, in Shreveport City government as it exists, there is an accepted level of corruption, yes or no?
Yes.
With the current administration as well.
I have to assume that, and I'm going to use that word, assume. I don't have anything that I can tell you with facts right now. I do have some information that I am looking into now that would certainly reveal that, improve that, and until I can actually put something together like we did with the water department and what we really, I mean, everything that we found was facts, and we presented facts when we did it. It seems like that other news media would probably have done investigation way before we did, but we just got a hold of it and we started getting people who complained about it to us, so we started digging.
You throw some things up on social media and you're criticized for some of it. One this week had to do with George Soros.
Yes.
Donating in this mayor's race. You suspected it. Why did you do? You don't have proof of that.
No.
Why would you do that?
Well, first off, if you Google right now, you Google George Soros, and you just say, George Soros's businesses, you will find hundreds of businesses that this man owns. His money has been in other races, and that has been proven. So I would be pretty shallow to think that, if it wasn't something of a mayoral race, this was much less of a mayoral race, that how would I know that it's not here? I'm not going to sit here and say I have evidence of it, because I do not. Do I feel like it is? Yes. We have people who are on his payroll that are local. We already know this. I won't say the names.
You're not naming names?
I won't say the names.
Who are they backing?
I don't know. That's something I do not know. I've tried to stay as far away from that as I possibly can.
You're not getting any money from him.
Oh, heck no. I am trying on our fundraising. I mean, God bless my friends and family. I mean, they're the ones that have been, funding me mostly. I feel funny taking money from anyone that I really don't know. Everybody's got an idea that, okay, when I give you money, that means that I'm going to control you when you get into being
Let me
mayor.
ask you about that, because I talked to Adrian Perkins about that. Will anyone that's contributed to your campaign possibly have a role in your administration, i.e. a job?
There's probably only one person who I would say who works on my campaign that I feel very confident about her ability of what I'd like her to do, and maybe even two people who have worked on my campaign.
And have been donors?
In time.
Okay.
In time. Not money, but in time.
Okay.
And of course I've seen what they do and how they do things and what I think they could contribute. But, there will be absolutely zero people. As a business person, you want to surround yourself with the best quality people you can. That is the only way you're ever going to rise up. If you surround yourself with a bunch of, I'll just call everybody A, B, C's, and D's. But if you surround yourself with C's and D's, that's all you're going to get. And you are a taxpayer, Erin. I'm a taxpayer. What that means is we're investors. We're investors into our city. So what happens is we're investing and we're not getting a return on our investment because they're saying, okay, well, I've got a lot of political appointees that I'm putting in these positions. And if you go and you look, you go in and you dig down into, and a lot of it's there already, into the Shreveport website. And when you go there, you'll see where people were appointed by the mayor. You will see where everybody is appointed. I won't do that. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to reevaluate every department head. Now, there may be 1, 2, 3, 5 of them out of 23 that are doing a pretty good job. I don't know. What I will do is I want to find out. I'm going to first ask them who they work for. If they say the city, they may not work there tomorrow. If they tell me I work for the taxpayer, then they've got a good chance.
Hang on just a second, kids. Got to take a break. We'll be back with mayoral candidate Leo Savage in just a couple of seconds. 19 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Latest traffic update. Here's Ruben.
We have reports of a minor accident on North Market near MLK Drive, and we have some backed up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 83. Mostly cloudy, low 64 tonight. Not as warm with clouds, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
22 past 7 o'clock, time for KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints secondary, ranked 30th out of 32 teams in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus, will be without their highest-rated cornerback for the rest of the season. Patrick Robinson suffered ligament damage as well as a broken ankle against the Falcons on a barrel roll block. The team worked out a covey of cornerbacks Tuesday, and they are expected to run journeyman David Amerson through the paces today, according to The Advocate. Amerson has 8 interceptions in his 5-year career with 3 different teams. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said former quarterback Tony Romo will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor, but he did not provide a timetable. Jones made his comments while being interviewed by the NFL Network for their upcoming Football Life episode that focuses on Romo's career. There are currently 21 Ring of Honor members. The Houston Astros won for the 100th time and clinched the American League West later when Oakland lost to Seattle. The Astros' 4-1 win over Toronto was buoyed by Alex Bregman's 2-run homer. 3 wins over the final 5 games of the regular season would give the Astros a franchise record 103 wins. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-five after 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Mayoral candidate Leo Savage here for another segment or so. We were talking before we started toward the top of the hour when you first came in, and we were talking a little bit about the number of forums, the number of mayoral forums that you've done, and I don't think you've missed one yet.
Yes, I did one.
And the ones that are coming up. But you said the one thing that people ask over and over again, and I take this to be, this is what's foremost in people's minds.
Yes.
Is crime.
Right.
To the point that once again, not to put words in your mouth, but there is probably not a neighborhood in the city that feels totally secure. Is that the sense you get, and what can you do about it?
Well, first off, great question. You know, when I walk neighborhoods, I don't care if I'm walking Southern Hills, Broadmoor, Sunset Acres, Cedar Grove, down Ellerby Road. You know, that is the first thing that people say in our forums. It's one of the primary questions that they'll ask. You know, what are you going to do about crime? You know, and we've got to admit this. You know, first off, we've got very poor leadership in our police department now, and this is through the mouths of our police officers that I've talked to. But you know, we can change police chiefs today. We can get more police officers out on the street today, which is, again, what we have to have. We've got to have that. We have to reallocate, and I can talk to you about that a little bit if you'd like. The problem is in the community. I mean, and deeper in the community. But if we looked at possibly 3 or 4 neighborhoods in our city, you might live in Southern Trade. Look, there's not been a homicide in my neighborhood. I live on Cross Lake. I mean, there's not been a homicide there. So I can assume I'm safe in somewhat of a fashion. But when you're looking at corporations that look to Shreveport and say, hey, this could be an opportunity. Look, they've got 49 that's going to connect. Could be a good transportation hub for us. Well, then they look at the crime, and they don't look and say, well, let me look at what Cross Lake, what the crime is there, or, you know, Southern Trace there. You know, what they're going to do is they're going to look at Shreveport's crime. And I think the crime numbers just released that we had, from what I'm thinking, it was 10 homicides in August. Not good. we're not getting safer. I mean, if you compare it to the same month last year, I want to say we had maybe 3 homicides. So, we're not getting safer. We've got to do something. But peeling back that onion a little bit, if you look at all the communities, we can have all the police, we can have them crawling everywhere. The problem is still there. We can put a Band-Aid on it, but the artery is still hemorrhaging. So what we've got to do, we've got to go down into the communities, and if we don't start doing that, we're going to have the same problem. It's not going to fix anything, deep. We're just going to be out chasing the same problems. But in my opinion, we have got to take and we got to create a mentorship program, and we've got to start mentoring these kids so they understand that there is life beyond the hood. We'll call it the hood. I grew up in the hood. Sunset Acres was the hood.
You talk about mentoring and a mentor. We don't have the money for that, Leo. Where are we going to get the money?
There's no money needed. I would do a mentor program right now. We've got, as a matter of fact, I've already talked to several people. It's Bishop that I met out at Woodlawn High School. We had an event out there a few weeks ago. That's what he does. You partner with people like that. But, I don't care if it's you, if it's Robert, whomever it is, and say, hey, would you like to be a part of our mentorship program? Well, absolutely. What do I have to do? We want you to go into schools. We'll have maybe once a week, for maybe just give us an hour of your time. Well, absolutely. You go in there. Now, somebody, every particular race, every male, female, they will relate to one person. If you tell your story, Erin, there's going to be a female that's going to say, wow, Erin did that? I can do that. So we've got to get these people in, but that's not going to cost us money. That's going to be opportunities. And we also have to look, we've got Caddo Career Center right now. They teach skills. Skilled labor is what they teach there. But we've got one school, one area, and it's been the same place. It's right there on Union Avenue off of Hollywood. It's been there for umpteen years, since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. But we've got to do more of that. We've got to reach and expand that, start talking about maybe computer skills, more computer skills, so when we bring in corporations into Shreveport, that we have a trained workforce, not just, well, do you have anybody that we can hire? No.
Excuse me, Mr. Leo, time for another break.
We're on time to the chair.
Hold your question. You're
okay.
a chomping. You can stay another segment or so?
Sure.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Local news just ahead. Here's Ruben. Traffic update right now.
The intersection at Linwood Avenue and West 70th Street dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. Use your low beams and patches of heavy fog, and if you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 83. Mostly cloudy, low 64 tonight. Not as warm with clouds, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Of information. KEEL News now.
A man shot and killed in Bossier. Police investigating their first murder of the year. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning on Park Lane Drive in the Green Acres subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. At this time, investigators are seeking surveillance footage in an attempt to identify the gunman. 2 men and 2 juveniles taken into custody following a home invasion on Dixie Blanchard Road. According to police, the foursome forced their way into a woman's home, robbing her at gunpoint. Caddo deputies eventually caught the 4 alleged burglars after an extensive manhunt that included the use of drones equipped with infrared cameras. After an afternoon scare, all is good at Barksdale. Matt Parker with that.
Things are back to normal at Barksdale Air Force Base after a brief lockdown. There were reports Tuesday afternoon of a possible active shooter situation. Someone reported sightings of an armed man on base. However, after a lockdown and investigation, it turned out to be a false alarm. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. Jeff Landry's filed a lawsuit in Natchitoches in an attempt to unseat 2 of Governor Edwards' appointments to the panel. Landry believes the appointments were illegal because Carolyn Prater's nomination to the board was ignored for political reasons. Landry says the process is clear.
The governor has to follow the law like everyone else, right? And the law spells out the way that the representation on the commission is made and how those appointments are made.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. Governor John Bel Edwards says our state's surging income levels are a substantial part of the expected $300 million surplus for the past budget year. A report shows Louisiana paced most of the nation in income growth at 5.9% in the second quarter, good for second in the country. Edwards says income gains are propelling the unexpected revenues.
We closed the books on June 30th for last fiscal year, and these 2 quarters that we're talking about were the last 2 quarters in that fiscal year.
The national average was 4.2%, and Texas led the nation at 6% income growth. Lawmakers awaiting a momentous Senate Judiciary Committee hearing tomorrow in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who accuses him of sexual misconduct are expected to testify separately. The Senate Judiciary Committee is bringing in a special attorney to question both. Senator John Kennedy reacted to that on Fox.
Any senator has the right, within the time given to him or her, to ask questions. I'm planning on ceding all of my time to our new staff member. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't decide to reserve some to ask a question myself, but right now I haven't sat down and prepared a bunch of questions. I'm not interested in any gotcha moments.
Senator Kennedy says a vote could come in the committee as early as Friday. Bill Cosby sentenced to 3 to 10 years in Philadelphia. He was taken off to jail immediately. And Verizon had big-time problems yesterday all across the country. Folks couldn't make calls. Many couldn't even send text messages. System officials say it is now back up and running today. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Back for another segment is mayoral candidate Leo Savage. What you got, kid?
Okay, you're mayor. You just won.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Just throw a party. We
Yeah,
got it.
second floor. You're in the elevator. You go into your desk. What are the first 3 things Mayor Savage does?
First thing Mayor Savage will do is excuse our police chief. That's the very first thing, without doubt. Next thing
You can't fire him, so you...
Yes, I can. I can relocate him. I can actually
demote
take him. Yes.
Okay.
I already have several people that I have in mind as far as the police chief, and the closer I get, I think I want to try to narrow that down. I may even walk in with my police chief. Now, that person will still have to take, because it's a civil job, they're going to have to take the test, and as everyone will.
And second thing you do?
Second thing, I'm rounding up every one of our department heads. I'm going to let them know exactly what's going to happen for the next 2 weeks.
Are they getting pink slips? Or are they getting interviewed?
They will get reevaluated. Okay. Everybody's going to get reevaluated. I will give them opportunity to prove to me what they've done this year, and I want to find out what their plans are for 19.
And your third thing you're going to do?
Third thing? Good question. Third thing, I believe what I want to do is call for the third-party audits for all of our departments.
Those are costly. The water and sewer department audit is $180,000.
Well, I tell you, even right now, if you look at the one that they awarded the contract to, I mean, there's odd ties into the prior administration. Matter of fact, it was prior administration's accountant is who they awarded that to. So, will I trust that? No. So we'll do our own. I think that in order to, and it's like with anybody else, if you come in, you want a clean slate. I want to know what I've got, and I know
your CAO, is he fired?
Yes, we're going to get a new CAO for sure. Now, I won't do that probably day one, but it will be, or day 2 or 3. But that will be a process as well. It'll be an interview process. I do have 1 or 2 people that I'm certainly looking at there for a CAO job. I mean, one I'm highly impressed with. So, I've got certainly that opportunity. In order to run a city, again, you have got to surround yourself with incredible people, and that's what Shreveport deserves. That's what we have to have.
One of the things that I guess Erin brought it up at her city council forum last evening. You may have been asked previously, and we asked Adrian yesterday, and he said, "I'm no fan of taxes, but I can't promise no new taxes." With the tax base of Shreveport diminishing, and that basically there's nobody that disputes that. Would Mayor Leo Savage, would candidate Leo Savage take the no new tax pledge?
I don't think I can say no new taxes. I think we have to look at the whole picture. If you, Matt, Erin, and I went to dinner and it was $100, and we were all paying Dutch, and we were going to pay $25 a piece. Well, Matt got a call and had to run out, had an emergency. Well, that same bill has to be paid, and it's now going to cost us $33.33. That's what's happened. We've lost so many people, about 9,000 people. We were at 2001, we had 201,000 people. And now today, last year, the U.S. Census Bureau said we have 192,000. So we have lost a considerable amount of people. So our burdens are the same things are happening, the same things. We need water, we need trash pick. Everything that we have to spend is the same thing. What I would love to do is go in there and scrub our budget. You've got to have somebody that can go in there. If you look right now, and again, all this information is online, but if you look at our general fund is the largest piece of pie. If you look at on a pie chart, it is massive. And I don't like that word general fund. I want everything, I want it down to it's a sliver. That general fund is a sliver, but people know what that sliver is. Everything has to be accounted for. I think once we divide all that up and we figure out exactly where all the money has been going, and I'll promise you that I'll make sure that the money we spend is going to be investments, and they're only going to be something that's going to be crystal clear, and the people of Shreveport know it. We have to be transparent.
We got time for one more.
Speaking of the budget,
go ahead.
I'm a rainy day girl. What is your goal for our reserve fund, which right now, I don't know if you know, is critically low.
Yes.
What is Leo Savage's goal to keep in Shreveport's reserve fund?
Well, as you know, going into 2019, the current administration, oddly enough, they are going to create the budget for 2019. Now, working with the city council, we can actually alter that. I would at least like to first, and it's a super question, and I would love to be able to answer it specifically to you, but I really think that we have got to look at the entire budget and see exactly what's going on. Rainy day you have to have that. You know, what are we going to need the rainy day for? But let's make sure that we have enough, and I can't, out of $488 million that we have now, you know, if you look at that budget, you know, is it enough? Is $1 million enough? Probably, you know, but should we try to shoot for $1 million? Absolutely. Will that happen the first year the way they have the budget laid out? I don't think so. But I do think that we have to trend towards that because you never know what will happen. But we do have funds. There are funds in there. I mean, they can pluck out funds for a lot of things.
Have you read the budget, the 2018 budget?
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
And the new one's coming out this weekend. She's supposed to send it out.
Okay, good. Well, I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay.
And again, that's going to be for 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's something that I know I'm going to have to work. I'm going to have to start on. I won't say that I'm going to have to comply with that, but you know, working with the city council, I've already talked to several council members of, you know, what we can do, how we can do, and that can be altered. But we have to have a good vision, a good direction for our city. You know, if we look, I don't want to be the mayor that comes in and says, okay, in 4 years, this is where we're going to be. Although I want to have a great plan to do that, and we have great plans of what we will look like in 4 years, but we have to look, you know, 8 years, 12 years, 20 years down the line. You know, what will Shreveport look like in 20 years? We can't be short-sighted, and if we still plan short-sighted, that's what we're going to get. What we're going to do is wake up one day, and we're going to have what we have today.
Leo Savage, candidate for mayor. Hope we can do it again before the election.
Yes, you just let me know anytime.
You bet.
744, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update right now. Ruben's ready.
The intersection at Linwood Avenue and West 70th Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some backed-up traffic on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. Use your low beams and patches of heavy fog, and if you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Two down, three to go on the mayoral candidates individually in the studio. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty.
If anyone knows Mayor Tyler, I've called her campaign people. They have not called me back, so
we had
we're still awaiting.
Adrian Perkins was yesterday. Just wrapped up with Leo Savage. Jim Talaferro from 8 until about 8:30, 8:45, something like that.
Right.
And Stephen Jackson tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour. And we have yet to hear from the mayor.
Her people, I guess. Now, yesterday, maybe they couldn't get me because of my Verizon mess, so I'll try them again today.
That was how many people did that affect across?
Oh.
I thought it was just like Shreveport, maybe
No.
just
No.
It was millions and millions.
Oh.
It was the entire South. Every tower in the southern region of the United States was down.
How does
Could
that?
not make calls. Some of my texts weren't going through. It was a mess.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's your AccuWeather.com forecast. Let's see. Mostly cloudy and a chance of rain, heavy at times. Again today, high today in the low to middle 80s. Right now, 72 at Keel at 750. Your money now. Good morning. It's 8. Well, I might charge you a couple of bucks. I'll tell you what we're talking about in a second. 8 before 8 o'clock. Traffic. No, sports time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints secondary, ranked 30th out of 32 teams in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus, will be without their highest-rated cornerback for the rest of the season. Patrick Robinson suffered ligament damage as well as a broken ankle against the Falcons on a barrel roll block. The team worked out a covey of cornerbacks Tuesday, and they are expected to run journeyman David Amerson through the paces today, according to The Advocate. Amerson has 8 interceptions in his 5-year career with 3 different teams. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said former quarterback Tony Romo will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor, but he did not provide a timetable. Jones made his comments while being interviewed by the NFL Network for their upcoming Football Life episode that focuses on Romo's career. There are currently 21 Ring of Honor members. The Houston Astros won for the 100th time and clinched the American League West later when Oakland lost to Seattle. The Astros' 4-1 win over Toronto was buoyed by Alex Bregman's 2-run homer. 3 wins over the final 5 games of the regular season would give the Astros a franchise record 103 wins. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM and 710 Keel, Robert and Erin, 755. Mayoral candidate, another one. Jim Talifero joins us just after 8 o'clock. About 45 minutes ago, you got a text.
Yeah.
Tell us who it's from and read it if you are inclined.
This is from the birthday boy, Steve Prater, who celebrated his birthday yesterday.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater sent you a text earlier this hour.
Yeah.
What does it say?
Well, we told you about the home invasion in Blanchard, where 4 people apparently kicked in the door of a home on Dixie Blanchard. Sheriff's office caught the 4 suspects. The sheriff says, but the Justice Reinvestment Act did away with the 5-year minimum they must now serve. Now they can get probation. See pages 4 or 5 of the Justice Reinvestment Act. So these people who kicked in the door of a woman's home, stealing her stuff, running off. They ended up catching them using this new drone they have, which is kind of cool. But they may get probation. How wrong is that?
And
I don't get that.
Well, as we know, Mr. Steve has been highly critical of the Justice Reform Act here in Louisiana that was backed by the governor. Go ahead,
I
Mike.
think I can read this. I think this word is legal.
Ooh.
This is also from the sheriff.
You'll get that.
Hold on, let me find the button.
Just be
Jack
careful.
Spring Electric Shock Buster button.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, God.
This is from the sheriff, and I'm quoting now.
Oh, God.
I tell my leadership team about leadership. If I'm going to war, I'd rather have an army of asses led by a lion than an army of lions led by an ass.
756, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. I almost said.
Was that okay?
Huh?
Was that okay?
Yeah, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear Matt freak out, did you? Here comes Sean Hannity on Keel.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I watched the president's speech today at the UN, and I thought it was remarkable. It's such a contrast, and it was on the world's. We've had an economic renaissance based on pretty much every data point that you can bring up. Record low unemployment, 14 states. We have record manufacturing jobs being created, more than in 30 years. Record low unemployment, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, 61-year low women in the workforce unemployment. Youth unemployment is at a 50-some-odd year low now. It was such a contrast to watch a president that actually stood up for America on the world stage after years of apology tours, after years of appeasement and capitulation.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Blinds.com, they make it simple and easy to upgrade the look of a single room or your entire home with brand new made-to-order custom blinds. Now, every order gets free samples, free shipping, and free professional online design consultation. You can read reviews and see inspiring before and after pictures. Go to Blinds.com. And now through September the 30th, you take an additional 5% off their already low prices at Blinds.com. Just use the promo code Hannity. Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. Rules, restrictions apply.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Breaking news and trending talk. 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KeelNews.com. KeelNews.com.
Looking right now at a minor accident on North Market near Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. Use your low beam and heavy fogs, and if you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Down yonder, Miss Erin. Local news coming up.
Home invasion in the Blanchard area. Suspects have been caught. We'll talk more about that. The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. That's coming up, too. And is the healthcare climate changing in our region?
Mr. Jim Talaferro, mayoral candidate, joins us for a half hour or beyond. His vision for the city. This hour, in fact, it's just about 10 minutes away. Fletcher and Sports, it's all coming up this hour. It's right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. Jeff Landry's filed a lawsuit in an attempt to unseat two of Governor John Bel Edwards' appointments. Landry believes the appointments were illegal because Carolyn Prater's nomination to the board was ignored for political reasons.
The governor must choose from the list submitted to him. He does not have the discretion to deviate from that list.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. 2 men and 2 juveniles taken into custody following a home invasion on Dixie Blanchard Road. According to police, the foursome forced their way into a woman's home, robbing her at gunpoint. Caddo deputies eventually caught the 4 alleged burglars after an extensive manhunt that included the use of drones equipped with infrared cameras. The healthcare climate is changing in the region. That's the message from State Representative Cedric Glover on the auctioneer takeover of the safety net hospitals.
Folks now who are in the healthcare profession have an opportunity to be able to work for an organization that gives them an opportunity to not just have a great job, but also have a path to a great career as well.
The auctioneer takeover happens October 1st. A man is shot and killed in Bossier. Matt Parker has the details.
Bossier City Police are investigating their first murder of the year. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning in the 500 block of Park Lane Drive in the Green Acres subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. At this time, investigators are seeking surveillance footage in an attempt to identify the gunman. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Things back to normal at Barksdale after a brief lockdown. There were reports Tuesday of a possible active shooter situation. Someone reported sighting of an armed man on base. However, after a lockdown, an investigation turned out to be a false alarm. Shreve Memorial Library and the Food Bank expanding their after-school feeding and enrichment program to more branches. Starting October 1st, library branches in Greenwood and Morningsport will begin offering the service. Governor John Bel Edwards says his top priority for the legislative session next year is to fund a teacher pay raise. The last time teachers in Louisiana got a raise was in 2013. Former Bessie member and former lawmaker Jane Smith tells KEEL News what she expects to see happen now.
Thinking probably there won't be any more special sessions, and I'm thinking that they're going to go in April, but this is going to be one of the big items, one of the big ticket items, and it's a political season for elections in 2019, so there you go.
Louisiana teachers make on average just around $49,000. The national average is about $60,000. Lawmakers in the Senate awaiting a momentous Judiciary Committee hearing on Thursday in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who accuses him of sexual misconduct when they were teens are to testify separately. The Judiciary Committee has called in a special attorney to question the woman and Kavanaugh.
I was interested in having somebody who had expertise in sexual assault allegations who could ferret out the information that we all need. And this attorney, who happens to be a woman, came highly recommended. I don't know her, but I've been assured that she's very good and very fair.
Senator John Kennedy says there could be a vote on Kavanaugh on Friday. And Verizon customers across the country had big problems yesterday. The company says things are back to normal now. The LSU Tigers take on Ole Miss Saturday after getting scorched by Tech quarterback Jamar Smith in an unexpectedly close game. The Bulldogs threw for 333 yards. The purple and gold secondary has looked vulnerable at times, something cornerback Greedy Williams, who played ball right here at Calvary, says the secondary is trying to correct.
It was a bad game for the back end. We all made mistakes. At the end of the day, it's a game of football. Mistakes happen. So at the end of the day, we just got to bow up, and fix it on the film, and come out with a great demeanor this upcoming week.
Last year, the Tigers went into Oxford, smashing Ole Miss 40-24. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic time.
Still looking at that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we're still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 12 past 8 o'clock. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. In studio, it's mayoral candidate day, so to speak, number 3 out of 5. Now, we've only heard from 4, but that's not the point. So, mayoral candidate Jim Talaferro is here. Welcome, Mr. Jim. Welcome back to KEEL.
Hey, thanks a bunch. Appreciate it.
Kick it off with the story you told off the radio about, and you can mention names.
I'm talking about my son, and he's in college here. Got out of Marines, came home. He's in college, going to finish college soon. And I said, "What's your plan?" He said, "I'm probably going to move, Mom." I said, "Why are you moving? Why won't you stay here?" And he said, "This city looks like a city that nobody cares about." And Jim, that broke my heart. And I don't know if a mayor can change it. Can one little old mayor can change that, really?
No, one little old mayor cannot, but the attitude of one little old mayor can. You know, the point is that we need to rebrand our attitude about where we live, where we call home, where we were born. I got to tell you that I was at Houghton and Captain Street Bird, thanks. Bird game, and I was passing out flyers, and a guy, I introduced myself, and I gave him the flyer, and I says, like your vote, and he says, "I'm going to vote for you, but then I'm moving my company out of Shreveport."
What?
Yeah, and so then he was on a mission because I couldn't even get a word in edgewise. He couldn't get through the gate fast enough. Now, he may have been late or something like that, but all I could say was, give me a chance. Give me a chance. That is the attitude that we're bumping into every day, and that's why I bring up my 62.
When you say attitude, what do you mean?
Maybe it's despair. Maybe it's the despair. Maybe it's the loss. I don't even want to say it's loss of hope, because when you lose hope, as we all know, then you have truly lost everything. And I don't believe we have lost hope. I believe that we can do better in rebranding the attitude about where we live.
What do you do, nuts and bolts wise? What do you do? What actions will I see that will change things?
The actions that you're going to see is things that are going to be measurable, that people can actually see. What the mayor's responsibility is I say that be the cheerleader. I know that's kind of simplistic, but the CAO of the city needs to change the attitude from the top down. If I'm upbeat, if I'm optimistic, if I'm saying we can do this, we can win together, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone to be the tip of the spear. We're looking for someone to say, "I got your back. We're going to do this together." And there are measurements, there are metrics that you will physically see that are going to say, we're going to turn this thing around. Yes, it's a large ship, and it's going to take a little while to turn it around, but don't underestimate the power of the people that are passionate about living here in Shreveport. I talk to them every day, and you got one cheerleader right here that says, we're going to do this together. We can win, and the point is that we can be better than we ever thought we could be.
Let us continue our nautical theme.
Ooh, nautical.
What's the first big iceberg?
The first big iceberg is taking a look at, obviously changing the way that we do business. I'm a strong proponent of customer service. I want to make sure that people that are going to operate businesses here get treated fairly. I want to make sure that people don't get increased in taxes. There are no new fees. I want to make sure that when you come down to City Hall, you get helped and not passed along from person to person to person. It is the cultural attitude in City Hall must be changed. Also, I know we're probably getting into a lot of this stuff, but every department needs to be audited. We need to find out where we're wasting money. And we all waste money, from our personal budgets to our business budgets. We all waste money. We just find out where that money is going and why we're paying, X amount of dollars to a nonprofit, or X amount of dollars to, let's say, the convention center, or X amount of dollars to anything, and look at Shreveport as running a business. I know a lot of people are going to say, it ain't like running a business, but yes, it is.
But when you say the attitude needs to change, people need to have customer service. You've got city workers who've been there years after years after years, and you're not going to change how they treat people overnight. Do you need new city workers? Do you need the ones who have bad attitudes to carry their butts?
What you need is managers and leaders within this department. Managers and leaders within the city that are responsible for the managing and leading of that department. Leaders' responsibility is to build other leaders. And it's the leader that sets the tone for others to follow. I think we've been in a state of complacency in this city. And any business book that you pick up, complacency will kill a business, because we get comfortable. Oh, we have a couple of successes here and there, and we're so busy touting, kind of ruffling our feathers, going, "Oh, look at us, look at us." We have to keep the pipeline full of opportunities, and I think that's where we're missing the boat in a lot of cases. So yes, it is attitude, and I say it is an attitude of the leader, i.e. the CAO of the city. That's me, Chief Marketing Officer, whatever you want to call it. I say CEO because I'm the Chief Encouragement Officer. It's my responsibility to actually translate my optimism to the people down below, and hopefully they'll do the same thing. I used to tell cops all the time is that if I take care of you, my internal customer, as a chief of police, my internal customer, you can't help but take care of your external customers the same way that you're treated. That's fundamental. That's a Disney moment there.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Talaferro, mayoral candidate. Take a quick break. Come back. Lots more questions.
Mm-hmm.
19 past 8 o'clock. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Reuben time. Here's traffic.
Still looking at that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound, starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we're still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
FM, 710 Keel. Here's Fletch. Here's sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Saints secondary, ranked 30th out of 32 teams in pass coverage by Pro Football Focus, will be without their highest-rated cornerback for the rest of the season. Patrick Robinson suffered ligament damage as well as a broken ankle against the Falcons on a barrel roll block. The team worked out a covey of cornerbacks Tuesday, and they are expected to run journeyman David Amerson through the paces today, according to The Advocate. Amerson has 8 interceptions in his 5-year career with 3 different teams. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said former quarterback Tony Romo will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor, but he did not provide a timetable. Jones made his comments while being interviewed by the NFL Network for their upcoming Football Life episode that focuses on Romo's career. There are currently 21 Ring of Honor members. The Houston Astros won for the 100th time and clinched the American League West later when Oakland lost to Seattle. The Astros' 4-1 win over Toronto was buoyed by Alex Bregman's 2-run homer. 3 wins over the final 5 games of the regular season would give the Astros a franchise record 103 wins. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
23 past 8 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Back for another segment or beyond is mayoral candidate Jim Talaferro.
Here's to you.
When Adrian was here yesterday,
yep.
What was the question you asked? You asked Mr. Adrian, you said, is there a racial divide in Shreveport? Was that the phrasing you used? Did you say racial divide? What exactly did you say?
Yeah, how serious is the racial divide?
You said, is there? And the look on his face was, of course there
exactly.
is. You just said that maybe the number one job of the mayor, and I'm not going to disagree here because I brought it up with Adrian, a moral leader, an inspirational leader. If you describe the mayor as chief encouragement officer, and there's a racial divide in Shreveport, how do you, as that chief encouragement officer, bring into the fold all of Shreveport citizens?
You got to call it like it is. You know, I've gone back to news articles back in 1993, 1994, you know, and city councilmen and others had been writing about the number one, number two problem is crime. And the number two problem, or number one, depending on who was talking, is, the city is racially divided. Well, what has changed? I mean, you know, if we knew it then, and we're still saying it now, then the past administrations had an opportunity to maybe fix that. I'm not laying blame, but the point is it is what it is. So why are we still talking about it? The chief encouragement officer of the city, i.e. the mayor, you know, is responsible calling it out like it is and say, look, I don't have all these answers. I don't know why a white guy like me, you know, has issues with dealing, you know, with the black community. I don't. I'm just saying, using it as an example. The point is that tell me how we can fix this. Or tell me what we can do to minimize the divide, because I don't know if we're ever going to fix it. As long as we're human beings, we're going to be prejudicial in some form or fashion, you know. But I think the point is that we have to sit around the table or call people out and say, look, you know, this is everyone's concern. This is a community problem. It much like law enforcement. You know, I am the law enforcement guy. I'm the law enforcement candidate. But the point is that you can't lay everything at the feet of law enforcement that has to do with their social behavior. So we're not psychologists. We're not, you know, behavior scientists. We are law enforcement. And I say we because obviously career law enforcement. But the point is we have so much talent out there, and we just can't be kicking that emotional can or that racially divided can, whatever you want to call it, down the road. We got to say, if we acknowledge the problem, then there must be an answer. Now, I'm not saying I don't have all the answers, but the point is I like to surround myself with people a heck of a lot smarter than I am.
Let's talk budget a minute.
Oh, boy.
The Shreveport budget is the tightest it's been in a long time. Will you pledge not to go back to the voters for any new taxes if you're elected mayor? Can you make that pledge?
We are taxed and feed to death. The point is that managing your budget, and with going back, just let's break it down to simplistic terms. Managing your budget in a home, it's not like you can just go out and get another job. You know, if your ends are not meeting, you don't get the opportunity to go get another job. So if the ends are not meeting, part of the problem is that government just can say, wave the wand and let's just raise some taxes because we're not managing our money well. So the point is that if we manage our money well, I'm confident, you know, under my administration, we're going to manage our money well. We're going to look.
Can you give me examples of where you think there may be waste?
Sure. You pick a department. Pick any department. Okay,
let's go SPAR.
Okay, let's go SPAR. I don't know exactly where the waste is. That is not my responsibility. The responsibility of finding the waste is with the department who has their hands on the budget itself. Now, I can be the overseer, but I'm telling you, I know what I don't know. And so this is an opportunity for me to actually to learn. But the point is that I have to pick people, I have to interview people, I have to select people, I have to trust people to do the right thing.
Police department, where would you cut there?
I'm not saying I'm going to cut anything, but what I'm saying is I have to know where money is being spent. Okay, let's look at simplistic terms. I'm a strong proponent of, let's take the cars. This is pretty simple. Take the cars. We have a lot of this wrap on these cars. I think that's unnecessary. Anybody that's looked at how much does it cost to wrap one vehicle, whether I get a city discount or not, doesn't really matter. I'm okay with just having a black and white with big police on the side and Shreveport in little letters. That's all people care about, is seeing police coming around the corner. They really don't care who it belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one little incident in that if I can save $5,000 per vehicle on forgetting about the wrapping, and I get a factory paint job, and I put a one big old decal saying police and in God we trust, probably somewhere, an American flag, I'm good with that. But the point is, that is just one little thing. Now, imagine how many other things are out there that we don't even know about. And this is just one thing that's right underneath my nose every day. I'm thinking, why do we need all that glorified, wrapping when all we are is just a police vehicle?
So you would not propose any new taxes?
No.
At all?
No, because if I do my job, if we do our job responsibly and well, we shouldn't need to go back to the taxpayers going, hey, guess what? We just have to raise your taxes because we're just spending more than we're taking in. We're not, when they say you can't run it like a business, I disagree. I think you can run it responsibly like a business, because if I have more money going out than I got coming in, something's not right.
You're elected. You're mayor. Mayor Jim.
Can you hold the question till we come back?
Mm-hmm.
It's news time.
Okay. Oh, boy.
But I know, don't tell him the question off the air.
I think he might know it.
Maybe if he's been listening.
It makes no difference to me. It doesn't change a thing.
Mr. Jim Talaferro, mayoral candidate, more on the way, 29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Rubens ready.
Still looking at that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound, starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we're still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
A man shot and killed in Bossier. Police investigating their first murder of the year. Joshua Kidd was shot and killed just before 6 a.m. Tuesday morning on Park Lane Drive in the Green Acres subdivision. Police say when they arrived on the scene, Kidd was lifeless in the street, suffering from a fatal gunshot wound to the upper body. At this time, investigators are seeking surveillance footage in an attempt to identify the gunman. 2 men and 2 juveniles taken into custody following a home invasion on Dixie Blanchard Road. According to police, the foursome forced their way into a woman's home, robbing her at gunpoint. Caddo deputies eventually caught the 4 alleged burglars after an extensive manhunt that included the use of drones equipped with infrared cameras. After an afternoon scare, all is good at Barksdale. Matt Parker with that.
Things are back to normal at Barksdale Air Force Base after a brief lockdown. There were reports Tuesday afternoon of a possible active shooter situation. Someone reported sightings of an armed man on base. However, after a lockdown and investigation, it turned out to be a false alarm. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The state attorney general files suit over the Waterway Commission controversy. Jeff Landry's filed a lawsuit in Natchitoches in an attempt to unseat 2 of Governor Edwards' appointments to the panel. Landry believes the appointments were illegal because Carolyn Prater's nomination to the board was ignored for political reasons. Landry says the process is clear.
The governor has to follow the law like everyone else, right? And the law spells out the way that the representation on the commission is made and how those appointments are made.
The governor's office says Landry's actions are simply a political stunt. Governor John Bel Edwards says our state's surging income levels are a substantial part of the expected $300 million surplus for the past budget year. A report shows Louisiana paced most of the nation in income growth at 5.9% in the second quarter, good for second in the country. Edwards says income gains are propelling the unexpected revenues.
We closed the books on June 30th for last fiscal year, and these 2 quarters that we're talking about were the last 2 quarters in that fiscal year.
The national average was 4.2%, and Texas led the nation at 6% income growth. Lawmakers awaiting a momentous Senate Judiciary Committee hearing tomorrow in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a woman who accuses him of sexual misconduct are expected to testify separately. The Senate Judiciary Committee is bringing in a special attorney to question both. Senator John Kennedy reacted to that on Fox.
Any senator has the right, within the time given to him or her, to ask questions. I'm planning on ceding all of my time to our new staff member. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't decide to reserve some to ask a question myself, but right now I haven't sat down and prepared a bunch of questions. I'm not interested in any gotcha moments.
Senator Kennedy says a vote could come in the committee as early as Friday. Bill Cosby sentenced to 3 to 10 years in Philadelphia. He was taken off to jail immediately. And Verizon had big-time problems yesterday all across the country. Folks couldn't make calls. Many couldn't even send text messages. System officials say it is now back up and running today. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM is 710 KEEL, 24 away from 9 o'clock. Robert and Erin. KEEL app is a free download presented always by Office Furniture Source. A little more time with Shreveport mayoral candidate Mr. Jim Taliaferro. What you got down there, kid?
You're on the second floor. You're mayor, first day in the office.
Right.
Mayor Taliaferro sits down at the desk. Ooh. What are the first things you're going to do? First 3 things you do.
Yes, just be 3?
Let's just do 3.
All right, just be 3. Let's see. Third-party audit of every department. Review all city taxes, fees, and cut that red tape. I want to make sure businesses get into business, and I'd like to review all the qualifications of key personnel in the mayor's office, and obviously start the application process for chief of police.
So the police chief, you're going to ask him to step down or move him to another position?
We need new leadership under civil service. Obviously, I'm not going to go in there, and you can't fire anybody, but I know Alan understands. And I do like him a lot, but it is all about leading that department, and I believe we need to take our department in a different direction.
People deserve that. When Leo Savage was here last hour, And we were talking about the number of forums you guys are doing, et cetera. And he said the topic that comes up again and again and again, it's crime. He said no matter the neighborhood, no matter the demographic, no matter the economic strata, he said crime is it for most Shreveporters right now. Are you getting that same sort of feedback from people you talk to?
Yes. The perception of crime is that it's on the rise. And I know that it's what are you going to do about crime? Safety and security has always been paramount, right up there with food, water, shelter. It is the main discussion thread of just about every forum that we go to. I think there was one forum where they said, we're not going to talk about crime, we're going to talk about other issues. And that was kind of like, wow, that's pretty weird since that's number one on most people's minds. But yes, crime seems to be the number one issue in most of our voter base. And that's the reason I'm talking about, I'm the crime candidate. I've got over 30 years of law enforcement. And I know I say I know the ins and outs of the police department, their functions and dysfunction, because I ran for chief of police 3 times under 2 different mayors.
Right.
So, I do have a plan. The good thing about me, I said one of the good things about it is that I can actually sit down with the chief of police and compare strategies because I have my own. And they're not too far-fetched with someone, obviously, that I would be selecting as chief of police.
Folks are telling us every day, Jim, that you and Mr. Savage are just going to split the conservative vote, which might keep you both out of the runoff. What's a Republican to do?
What's a Republican to do? What's a person to do?
Right.
If they believe that they can do a job, and forget about the mayors, but if they can do the job well, and they have heart and soul and passion, and they believe that their 16-year-old deserves to have a legacy like they have, I'm running my race. And sure, we're going to have Monday morning quarterback people out there, do that Monday morning quarterbacking thing. Oh, it's about the party. What do you think about? I'm looking at the city. I'm not going to, I love the party because I love what the party stands for, or else I wouldn't be part of it. But the point is that I'm running my race. I'm the one that stepped up to the plate. I'm the one that says I'm the tip of the spear. I'm the one that's going to bat for your kids and your grandkids for the future of Shreveport. That's my goal. I stay in my lane, and I'm passionate about what we're doing. So they're going to say that we're going to split the vote and so forth and so on, and then we'll just get, same old.
You finish 3rd and 4th, or 3rd and 5th.
The point is get out there and make your voice heard by pulling the lever. And the reason you should vote for me is because what has changed in the last 12 or the 2 decades? Are you happy? It's like Dr. Phil says. How's that been working for you?
What's the difference between you and Mr. Savage then? If those are the 2 choices for some people who say I'm only voting Republican, what's the number one difference between the 2 of you?
I think experience is mine. If you're talking about crime as the number one issue, I'm the crime guy. I have more experience than any other candidate on running in this race. I believe if crime is your number one issue, then I'm your guy. I'm about leadership. I'm not about just management. I'm a John Maxwell fan, and the leadership is key in moving any organization forward. So I say it's leadership. I just don't preach it. I live it. Most of my career in law enforcement and in the military sector has been all about leadership, motivating others to do something great.
On a text line, we got this. Would you pledge to stop rolling our millages forward and backward and leave them at the rate we voted them for?
Yeah, the reason you vote for something is because that's the common voice of the public or the people. So, I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not all there is to know about. I don't know all there is to know about millages back and forth. But if I vote on something, that's credibility. That's accountability. That's saying you're listening to the will of the people, and I think you need to stick it there. Excuse me.
Another budget question.
Oh, sure.
Shreveport's budget, the 2018 budget. I'm sure you have read it, looked at it, reviewed it.
I have.
The next budget comes out this weekend. Our reserve fund is critically low.
Right.
Do you have a figure in mind of what we should have in reserves, and how do you approach that?
Yeah, I think we should go back to, this is kind of biblical, but I like the tithing principle. 10% has always worked. And the basic thing is if we can stockpile 10%, and again, it's back to being accountable and responsible. All the departments don't tell me I can't find 10% of waste, fraud, and abuse. So the point is that, 2%, that's just like crazy. 10%, I can live with. That generates, $40, $50 million bucks. So the point is that, we can do it. You got to have somebody willing to say, we're going to do this. We're not going to raise your taxes. We're going to do that. We're going to look for what we have not done well, and we're going to do it much, much better.
There's a lot of folks who say, well, you can look at the numbers that Shreveport, since probably around 1990, early 90s, has lost in excess of 15,000 or more manufacturing jobs. That we are the example of NAFTA and the WTO and all those moves. When Ross Perot said that sucking sound you hear, Shreveport is the example of so many jobs that up and left. Are those kind of jobs gone forever? You said you were the law and order candidate, the crime, but we also need kind of a, if not a business candidate, an economy candidate, right?
Right. Not necessarily an economy candidate. I'm just saying again, surrounding yourself with people a lot smarter than I am. I am, back to the chief encouragement officer, it's my responsibility as the mayor to select those people who do have vision and can move the city forward. Are the big box, I call them the big box stores, the big box businesses, are they gone forever? I'll never say anything is gone forever, because obviously we have not done, and I think the mayor has mentioned this, we have not marketed ourselves well. But in order for us to market ourselves, I kind of look at like the real estate business, since I'm in that, is that if you want to sell your house and it really doesn't have any curb appeal, I'm going to tell you, if you want me to sell you want to sell your house, you want to get top dollar for your house, you're going to have to do some curb appeal stuff. I don't care if it's painting, I don't care if it's trimming the bushes, I don't care if it's mowing the grass, I don't care what it is. The point is, you got to have somebody say, as Erin said, give me that wow factor for my house. Where's our wow factor for Shreveport? Of course, I hear the litter, I hear, the streets, and I hear the drainage. I hear all that as well. It's common knowledge. I guess the point is that I will never say that big box businesses are gone. The concern is that we have missed numerous opportunities with big box businesses because I believe we're not willing to build a relationship.
One more thing, Jim, and this my head might explode. So
No, that's all right.
do you know the number for 911?
Take a breath.
We vote on things in this city, and there's little follow up on some of them. I'll take the 1998 election. I believe we voted for a park at Cross Bayou. It's when we voted down a zoo. We voted for a park at Cross Bayou. How does Mayor Taliaferro handle following up and seeing that things are done as we voted for them?
Yeah, that's back to basic accountability. Don't tell me city administration forgets this stuff.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying is, I guess it's kind of focuses on down there where the Hustler Club is, in that specific area. And I know that's been a brownfield forever.
Sure.
And I know we ran into this with the convention center, correct? But the point is that, there are checks and balances. There are people down there that know what projects are in the pipeline that need to be followed up, and to go 20 plus years and going, oh yeah, where'd that money go?
Right.
Where'd we spend it? It's just fundamentally irresponsible. And it doesn't sit well with any administration that comes in and tries to do that. You hear about pensions with employees. Oh, well, it was a bad investment, but they don't tell you what the bad investment was. They just say the money's gone. Well, that's just unacceptable. Why? Anyway, I can get off on a tangent, but it's just unacceptable, and it's just irresponsible.
And it changes under you as mayor?
It has to, because I am your employee. I'm your employee. If I don't do a good job, you have every right to kick me out. No worries. And I have every right to say, yeah, you're right. I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. But the point is that I love it when you have, this venue for people to say, hey, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about this? What about this? The point is that we are not engaged with the people that we serve. I think we haven't been engaged. Shreveport was built on relationships, a handshake, a promise to go to work, and to make things better. And I think we've got out of the relationship business.
Jim Taliaferro, candidate for mayor. Hope you'll do it again with us.
You betcha.
846, it's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Your money now. Your money now is just ahead. Meanwhile, Ruben's here.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Kings Highway near Line Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Listen.
849, it's 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so yesterday we had Adrian Perkins, 7 to 7:30. The 3 segments of that interview are on the Keel website at keelnews.com.
Yep.
7 to 7:30 or 7:40 this morning we had Leo Savage. Those 3 segments will be up on the Keel website later. We just wrapped up 3 segments with candidate Jim Talaferro. Those segments will be on the website later also.
Tomorrow, Stephen Jackson joins us just after 7.
Was there something that you wanted to read, or do you want to save this to the last segment?
Let's wait. Yeah, let's wait.
Really?
Because I got to reconnoiter.
What?
I got to reconnoiter.
Can you give us a hint?
No.
Really?
No.
Is this from...
No. No.
No clue at all.
No.
849, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Well, actually 850. It is time for Your Money Now.
Your AccuWeather forecast, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm today with plenty of clouds and a high of 83. Mostly cloudy tonight, low 64. Clouds and not as warm, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
Lafayette School Board has just opened up its checkbook to anyone with an internet connection. The LPSS launched a website where anyone can go see what the school board has done with the money it receives and how it spends that money. Every single transaction is available online.
Yeah, and taxpayers have a right to know how government is spending our money. It's just common sense. If they're going to ask us to pay taxes, we ought to see how they're spending our money. Look, the way to deter crime, the experts say, is to have more eyes on the street, neighbors looking out for the neighborhood. The same principle works for government. If you want to deter wasteful spending, Open up the book so that we can all see what's going on.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Yo, Robert J. Wright here once again for our friends at Louisiana Coin and Jewelry on Line Avenue. We talked a couple of times, 3 times, about their great selection of pre-owned watches, luxury watches, specifically Rolex. And yesterday afternoon, I get an email from Louisiana Coin and Jewelry, and it says, hold on, bullet points. Live copy for just announced 60% off fine jewelry sale. Let me cover these bullet points because this does it much better than I could ad-lib. In celebration of their 60th anniversary, Louisiana Coin and Jewelry has a special selection of fine jewelry. And if you've been to Louisiana Coin and Jewelry, you know what I mean by the term fine. Selection of fine jewelry at 60% off through Saturday. 60% off select diamond tennis bracelets, diamond hoop earrings, diamond and precious stone jewelry. Some of this stuff is legitimately jaw-dropping. 60% off this week only. But it's not a holiday. But tuck it away. Buy it. Tuck it away. Put it in the drawer for a surprise down the line. Stop by. Take a look. Louisiana Coin and Jewelry, 60% off fine jewelry sale through Saturday. Louisiana Coin and Jewelry on Line Avenue in Uptown Shopping Center. You know where Brookshire's is? They are just to the left, up in the corner. Louisiana Coin and Jewelry. $8:57, got to go. Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Kim Commando.
As our airlines are seemingly making flying more miserable by the day, they have a bright idea to soothe everyone's frazzled nerves. Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update. Get extended interviews on tech topics with the free Commando podcast, available on iTunes and Google Play. The long lines, uncomfortable seats, people coughing, the pushing. and some airline employees can be downright rude. To bring Zen to the skies, American Airlines, the world's largest airline, will begin showing nature photos and sounds and offer guided meditations on their onboard televisions from the Calm Meditational app starting October 8th. This way, you can focus on specific body parts to relieve stress and tension. Headspace, another meditational app, is on board 11 airlines, including Delta, United, and Virgin Atlantic. But I have an idea. Why don't the airlines make travel great so we don't need a meditational app? Or at the very least, give us one free drink. I'm Kim Commando. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. You need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
At Dell, we know running a small business takes hard work. As a thank you, during the Dell annual sale, we're offering up to 40% off select PCs with Intel Core processors and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with a small business technology advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Special financing available to qualified business customers when using Dell Business Credit. Go to Dell.com/DVC promos for details.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, rather cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 83. Mostly cloudy, low 64 tonight. Not as warm with clouds, high 76 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather
Breaking
Dare.
news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.